Hi guys, welcome and welcome back again to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be having a little question and answer session. I asked you guys on my community tab and on Instagram. And if you are not following me on Instagram, baby girl, what is you really doing? Like, I just need to know. Please follow me on Instagram. It's going to be down in the description box. In all my videos, my Instagram is always down in the description box. It's the same as my YouTube name, Drhunnay. And yeah, anyways, I asked you guys to ask me some questions on my Instagram, and you guys asked me a good number of questions. So I'm super excited about that. And this is just like a life update type video. So if that sounds like something that you, my darling, are interested in watching, then you should definitely keep on watching. If it's your first time seeing my face, my name is Oyinko and I would love to have you over here. So please do well to hit that subscribe button down below. And give the video a massive thumbs up, guys. Before we go on, can you please smash that thumbs up button? It really does help the channel do better. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So I feel like I want to start from Instagram and then go over to my YouTube community to answer the questions. First question says, do you plan to pursue being an MUA in the UK? If you guys don't know, I'm actually a makeup artist, hence the reason why I can do good makeup on myself, because I actually did learn makeup sometime back in 2013. So I've been doing makeup for quite a while, about almost 10 years, I would say, that I've been a makeup artist. And when I was in Ibadan, I was actively a makeup artist alongside being a doctor or a medical student first. So this person who asked this question was actually one of my colleagues in medical school then, Oreolua, because I used to do her makeup as well back in medical school. The short answer is yes, actually. I have actually had a few makeup jobs in this country. I did makeup for people at a wedding. It was almost like 6-7 people that day. It was really, really stressful. It was a nice experience for me as well, because I mean, it's a different learning curve. And I do actually want to do makeup. It's just I don't know how to get back in, because it's been such a while that I've done makeup commercially. So getting back in is a bit, it's a bit scary and daunting, but that's something that I definitely do want to pursue. And I'm definitely going to keep you guys updated about it once I do. Next question is from Life with Kosi, and she says, how are you coping with work and being a new mom? So I haven't actually started going back to work. I've only had a few keeping in touch days. And if you don't know what keeping in touch days are, in the UK, you can take your maternity leave for up to 52 weeks, which is actually a year. And in that year, because it's such a long time for you to be away from work, you have up to 10 days for you to pop into work, see what is happening, work, earn some money at your normal salary rate. And, can do that up to 10 times during your maternity leave. So what I've done so far is just those keeping in touch days. And I've actually gone to work those 10 times in my maternity leave. And how I coped, obviously, you guys know that my mom is around. So my mom had keto all through the period when I was at work. And when I just got back, I breastfed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It wasn't too difficult for me, to be honest. I thought I was going to be more scared than I ended up being. My mom is here to help, so that's definitely a plus for me. Next question is, how have you been coping with life and a new addition? This question is from Real OJ Official. How have I been coping with life, guys? I'm not even going to lie to you. It's not been the easiest thing in the world. And that's because in the beginning, before my mom came, it was just me and my husband. And my husband was going to work and I was at home taking care of Keaton and obviously myself. And I had a cesarean. So I had a wound that was healing. It was painful. I was trying to figure out how to be a new mom. I learned a good number of things I learned about momming from YouTube, if I'm going to be honest, because every single thing I just used to watch it on YouTube because my mom wasn't around to help or show me how to do it. So how to bath a baby, I learned from YouTube. How to burp a baby, I learned from YouTube. YouTube has been a really, really helpful resource in terms of managing and coping with the new addition. But obviously, my husband is also very supportive. He helps with cooking, cleaning, all of that. So I don't actually have to do all the house chores, which is really, really a big plus for me. And I'm really grateful about that, because I can't imagine trying to heal from procedure like a cesarean, learning how to be a new mom and still doing all the cooking and cleaning and everything. It would have just been a lot for me to handle. So yeah, I'm happy because obviously my husband, like I said, really good husband, really supportive, everything. And yeah, God has been just showing us what to do, because that's just the long and short of it. You can never be really prepared for how these things go. God just has to show up and show out for you. And I think that's what has been happening. So I'm really, really happy and thankful for that. Next question is from Summy Chick. And she says, please, how did you lose pregnancy fat? I'm due soon and I miss my baby girl body. Girl, I'm going to tell you that I've not lost pregnancy fat. I mean, I have lost quite a bit of weight, if I'm being honest. The last time I weighed myself when I was pregnant, I was weighing about 112 kilos or maybe slightly more. And that was around 37 weeks. And you guys know that I gave birth at 39 weeks. So I'm definitely sure that by 39 weeks, I was definitely more than 112. And I've lost, right now, I'm around 92 kilos. So I have lost quite a bit of weight. It's not where I want it to be. Obviously, I want it to be around the 80s region, maybe around 75 if I'm even being honest, because that's what I feel is my ideal weight. My pre-pregnancy weight was around 88 kilos. So I'm almost at my pre-pregnancy weight, because right now I'm 92 kilos and I'm almost at my pre-pregnancy weight. But I really want to take it down a lot more. And what I can say that I've been doing is I've not been eating. That's it. That's the long and short of it. I haven't been eating. I've done quite a bit of diet, to be honest. Right now what I'm doing is intermittent fasting, and I feel like it really is helpful. I've been just eating OMAD. That's what it is, 1 meal a day. I try to drink a lot of water to stay hydrated, because obviously you guys know that I'm nursing. So I have to stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, and I eat a very nutrient dense meal for my 1 meal a day. It has carbs, it has protein, it has veggies. I make sure that it's quite dense in terms of nutrients, so that I can meet my calorie requirements for the day, but also to eat in a calorie deficit. So I'm not snacking all through the day. I'm not eating every time that my mouth feels bored. I have gum for that, and I'm actually always chewing gum for when my mouth is bored. But in terms of eating, I'm just eating 1 meal a day, and I think that's what has really helped. Prior to me starting the OMAD, I actually did a diet with, I don't want to mention the guys I did it with. It worked because I did lose about 3 kilos in 2 weeks. Was it 3 kilos? Yeah, I think it was 3 kilos. I lost 3 kilos in 2 weeks, but I felt I could do it myself, and there was no point me spending money to lose just 3 kilos in 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, if you guys want to see a what I eat in a day video, I can show you guys a typical day for me in terms of what I eat for one of my like diet plans, and what I eat for my OMAD. I just eat a really nutrient dense meal for my OMAD. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see a what I eat in a day to lose weight postpartum type video. You guys have to watch the video if I film it, because filming cooking videos is not easy, child. I'm gonna tell you for free. It is not easy. Anyways, next question is, Keaton is so beautiful and she looks so much like you. That's not actually a question. It's from Unique Blessing. Thank you so much. You know, people used to say that she looks a lot like her dad. So when you people say that she looks like me, it makes me happy. I'm going to put what my baby picture looked like on the screen, and I'm going to put one of Keaton's pictures on the screen, so you guys can tell me if you actually think that she does look like me. But I think she does. What will now make it seal the deal is if she has gap teeth like me, because my mom has, I have, and if she has, it will just be perfect. So yeah, thank you. Still from Unique Blessing, how do you feel generally as a mom in the UK? Right now, I feel normal. I don't feel anyhow. Before my mom came, I was feeling a bit low, because obviously I was doing everything myself and I was figuring out the terrain myself. But right now that my mom is around, I feel so much greater. I feel more energetic, and I feel like I'm even glowing. You guys can see that I definitely don't look bad, if I do say so myself. So yeah, that's a good thing, and I'm super grateful for that. But in terms of like everything else, I just feel good, and I'm happy that God blessed us with the opportunity of being able to have a child. So yeah. Next question is from my friend Olaoluwa, and she says, is the pretty girl that came to visit It's a pretty girl that came to visit you during your pregnancy taking. I think she's awesome. She's talking about herself because she came to visit me during my pregnancy, and she was such an amazing person. Even when I gave birth, she came all the way from Nottingham to visit me here. And she was so beautiful. She stayed for about 2 days, and I'm really, really grateful to her. I'm going to put a picture of us on the screen when I was heavily pregnant with my swollen nose, and she was there. She followed me to like have my phlebotomy appointment and all of that. It was really amazing. She's not taken, so if you guys want to shoot your shot at her, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll connect you guys. She's an amazing person, and I'm really grateful for having her in my corner. Next question is from by Bella Fayomi, and she says, what has been the most challenging part of having a newborn? So for me, the most challenging part of having a newborn is just the adjustment that it takes. When I'm tired, before I had a child, if I'm tired, I just sleep. Do you understand? I don't have to check up on anybody. I don't have to take permission from anybody to rest. I just rest if I'm tired. But now that there is a baby in the mix, obviously there has to be some adjustments. I can't just be the world doesn't just revolve around me anymore. I have to make decisions for my baby. I can't just wake up and go outside. I have to plan. Stepping out with my baby is such a struggle because you guys know I don't have a car. So I have to take public transport, and that is not easy. If I want to go out at 10, I literally have to start planning from about 8 or even 7 because she has to have a bath. I have to feed her. I have to burp her. I have to play with her. I have to make sure that she's settled before we can step out. If not, if I step out, she's going to get pretty cranky. Before I became a mom, if I want to go out at 10, I start getting ready at 9:30 and I'll be out of the door before 10. Do you know what I mean? But now I have to start getting ready at maybe 7 just so that I can meet that 10. And sometimes I might even still be late because the fact that I'm feeding her, playing with her and all of that before then to try to get her in the mood doesn't mean that she's going to be in the mood. Sometimes she's just not in the mood and it just doesn't work out that way. And then when we go out, she might be hungry, she might be cranky, and I have to feed her outside. And that is definitely not the easiest task in the world. No one likes when a baby is crying in public. As stressful as it is for you, the outsiders who are listening to the baby cry, it's even more stressful for the parents trying to figure out why their baby is cranky in public. So yeah, that is definitely the most challenging part of having a newborn for me. Next question is, how are you feeling postpartum and how are you emotionally preparing to resume? So this is a very good question for me because like I told you guys in my pregnancy and delivery story, I told you guys that I stopped actively going to work since June. So technically, I haven't been into the hospital since June in terms of work. I was working from home all from June till August when I had my baby. So I haven't been in a hospital since June. And if you do the math, that is quite a while. It's about 5 months of me not being in work. And going into work was so stressful for me emotionally. I was very nervous, especially my first day when I did my first keeping in touch. Once my mom came in, I just started scheduling my keeping in touch days so that I can start getting used to how it feels to go back to work. It was like, for me, graded exposure, just gradually exposing myself back to work. And that really helped me emotionally prepare for what work feels like because honestly, I felt so out of touch with a lot of things. A lot of the systems had changed. I had to relearn a lot of things. I was even logged out of the system. I was logged out of the hospital system. So I had to call the IT guys to put me back into the system and everything. It was just a lot for me. So I'm really happy about this keeping in touch days because now I have like graded exposure into work and it really helps me set the tune and set the pace and just know what it would be like when I resume and go back to work. I don't know if that makes sense to you. How am I feeling postpartum? Um I'm definitely getting used to what my body looks like now. I've not been the most body positive person in the world. I've always had a background not liking of how my body looked. I don't know how to explain that to you, but pregnancy definitely did bring a couple of changes for me. First of which is that I now have stretch marks on my arm and that's not something I used to have before. So let me see if I can show you guys. If you guys see my arm, you guys can see some lines. Those are stretch marks on my arms that I have now, and I never used to have them before. That's something that makes me feel some type of way. I'm not going to say that it bothers me a lot, because the truth of the matter is it doesn't actually really bother me that much, but it's a change for me, and it's not a change that I like. I also have a scar on my belly from the cesarean that I had, and my belly feels sensitive. So the lower half of my tummy, from my navel down, feels sensitive. It's like pins and needles. So when I touch it, it feels like pins and needles. And I spoke to my GP about it when I went for my postnatal checkup, and they told me that the feeling might be there for a while. Like sometimes it takes some people up to a year before the feeling goes. But it's an annoying feeling. It's just like a nuisance. Because if anything just brushes the lower half of my belly, it feels like pins and needles, like stinging kind of. But that's another thing that I don't like about postpartum. I also don't like the way my belly looks at the moment. I'm working on it, like I said, with my OMAD, trying to really eat in a caloric deficit so that my tummy can go back down as much as possible. But I'm really grateful that I don't have diastasis recti or any of that. It's just I don't like the new shape of my tummy. Maybe that's the way I should say it. I don't like the new shape of my tummy. Because again, remember, like I said, I've not been the most body positive person. So the new changes that come with pregnancy really does make me feel some type of way. But I mean, I'm grateful for the baby, and I'm grateful for my new body. I just have to learn to adjust and learn to live with my new body. So yeah. When is your maternity leave over? So in the UK, you can take up to 52 weeks of maternity leave. Right now, I am going to only take about 14 weeks of this 52 weeks. So that's about 3.5 months of maternity leave that I'm going to take. Reason being that I haven't worked enough for me to qualify for statutory maternity pay, which is like the maximum maternity package that I could have gotten. But I would have needed to have worked for at least a year with my current employers for me to qualify for that, and I don't. What I qualify for at the moment with the duration that I worked is maternity allowance. And maternity allowance is about £156 per week, which is about a little over £600 a month, which isn't a lot of money in this country. It can just do the barest minimum, pay for your electricity, pay for your council tax, pay for gas, and maybe buy a few groceries. Maybe it cannot really go a long way. And you guys know the way this country is. Money is essential, so I definitely have to jump back into things, because I have bills to pay. These bills ain't gonna pay themselves. So I'm only taking 3.5 months, which means I'm going to be resuming at the first week in December. That's when I'm going to be resuming from work. Next question is, how has it been adjusting to motherhood? It's been good. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult. And when I was pregnant, I was very, very hormonal, and that made me, I'm gonna say I experienced a little bit of depression. And I'm sure I've told you guys before in my pregnancy announcement video, I mentioned that I was depressed a little in the beginning of the pregnancy, and it really did extend for the bulk of the pregnancy. There was just like a background depression going on. And I thought that I would do very terribly at motherhood. Honestly, I'm not even going to lie. I didn't think I was psychologically prepared to be somebody's mother and be solely responsible for somebody else's life, But God has really been helping me, and I'm really happy for that, because I thought that when I gave birth, I was going to struggle with postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety and all of that. But honestly, I'm going to say that giving birth really did lift that feeling of depression from me. I felt great after giving birth. Very, very great. And that is very different from how I thought I was going to feel. So I'm going to say that I've definitely been handling motherhood really well, and I've been adjusting well, and I'm super grateful to God for that. Now I'm moving on to my YouTube community, and the question is from Abiola Adimola, and she asks, How is life being a first-time mom? The recovery process and how have you been coping? I think I've spoken a lot about this. I don't really have any much to add to it. I don't have anything much to add to it except that life has been good and I'm grateful to God for it. Next question is from Choma Amadike and she asks, how are you? How has working and living in the UK as a new mom been? The challenges, any help? Again, I've answered this. I feel like you guys have just been asking me how I am, and I'm really happy that you guys seem to care how I am. So thank you. Next question is from Oluyemi Oluwaseun, and she asks, hi, I have a question. Is Uncle Tolu also working in the UK? So, yes, actually, he's working in the UK and he's working in Nigeria as well. He's just not working as a doctor in UK at the moment. Neither is he working as a doctor in Nigeria, to be honest, but he is a doctor. He's just not working as a doctor in any of those places. Next question is your mom coming over to help out? If you guys watch my last video, my last vlog, you would have seen that my mom is actually here and she's been helping out a lot. So thank you to grandma for coming, leaving her life down in Nigeria to come over to help me, because honestly, she left her life back in Africa to come and help me in the abroad. So I'm really, really happy and thankful for her because she has made life so much easier for me, and for that I'm grateful. Next question is from Oduni Odungbeson, and it says, I'm a 14-year-old content creator. Give me advice, please. So, my darling, let me tell you something for free. Content creation is not easy. And I'm not saying that the act of content creation is no, it's not that fantastic. It's a skill. You will learn it as you go. But the perseverance part of it is what I mean by it's not easy. You might not blow in the beginning, to be honest. You might struggle. I mean, a few people blow in the beginning, but what are the odds that you're going to blow in the beginning? You just have to keep pushing and keep being consistent. Keep trying to better yourself, keep trying to improve on your craft. And trust me, if you persevere for long enough, you are going to hit the bullseye. It's just like throwing a dart. If you throw the dart for long enough, you will hit the bullseye. It's the same thing with content creation. Just be consistent and, try to improve on your craft as much as possible and you will hit the bullseye. Next question is, first of all, we need a name for this family. This is from Shion. She says, how is the new mom journey going? Are there times you wish you didn't move to the UK? If yes, when? Thank you so much, Shion. We actually do need a name for this family, so please leave suggestions down in the comment section. I'm thinking of Honey Gang. What do you guys think? Honey Gang, honey, 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 honey. Let me know if you guys like the name, but definitely please leave suggestions of a name for the gang down in the comment section. And it says, how is the new mom journey going? I've answered that bit. Are there times you wish you didn't move to the UK? Yes, yes, and yes. There are times I have wished I did not move to the UK. Many times, many times. When I first moved, it was winter. I really hated the weather. It used to get dark really, really early. By like 3:30, it's already dark. It made me have seasonal depression. I didn't like the weather at all. And coupled with the fact that I was pregnant and my taste buds were acting funny, I did not like the food I was eating. So it made me wish I wasn't here. It made me wish I was back home in Nigeria so I could eat proper food and have sunlight, because there's just something about sunlight that just makes the world better. Honestly, sunlight is so underrated, and that is something that UK doesn't have a lot of. And it just made me feel somehow. And secondly, moving into a new country where things are different in terms of medical practice, it made me feel somehow because I struggled a little bit, not with medicine itself, but with the way the systems work. The systems are very different, and I just needed to understand how to do things. And it made me wonder, like, why am I here for God's sake? I was not suffering when I was in Nigeria. Why am I here? Do you understand what I mean? So that's definitely another time when I wished I didn't come. Another time when I wished I didn't come was when my mom's visa was taking too long. I really wished I just went back home to give birth at that time because, like I said, pregnancy really, really made me feel very overwhelmed. I used to have outbursts of tears. I was just a very hormonal person at that time, and it made me wish I wasn't here, that I was back home where I wouldn't have to be applying for my mom to get a visa to come and see her grandchild and all of that. It was just a mess. So that's another time definitely that I wished I wasn't here. Another time still is even now, because sometimes I think of the cost of childcare when I eventually have to deal with that. And I know that childcare in Nigeria doesn't cost a fraction of what it costs here. Here, you have to really, really, really be prepared for the cost of childcare as opposed to Nigeria. I could have easily gotten a help. I could have easily put my child in a crèche while I go to work. But now, putting my child in nursery, it's going to be a lot of money. Do you understand what I mean? So these are times where I just wish Nigeria was functional and we didn't have to run away for greener pastures. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean those feelings definitely come in every once in a while. I read somewhere, someone said that it takes about, how long did they say? 2 years for you to finally settle into a new country and start feeling like it's your home. And like I said, I honestly don't feel like this place is my home just yet. I still feel like a sojourner, but I'm sure that it will definitely get better. It definitely feels better now compared to how it felt in the beginning. But yeah, and I'm sure that as time goes on, it will definitely still keep getting better. Next question is from Amira, and she says, I'm here to appreciate the pictures. Give us. Thank you. That's not actually a question. I don't know why I called it a question. But yeah, the next question is from Nelly, and she says, how did you survive a new job in the ED as an IMG while pregnant? How can I contact you? I would love to hear it all. Pregnancy and the ED. ED stands for Emergency Department Stroke A, and if you guys don't know. So the question is, how did I survive a new job as an IMG while pregnant? Again, I told you guys, with work, I really did feel like if I didn't have a full grasp of what was happening, and that partly is because maybe I was pregnant, it was it was not easy. That's just the long and short of it, especially during the night shifts. When I was working in Nigeria, and I'm not going to say this to sound anyhow, but when I was working in Nigeria, I worked in the A&E, and my shifts were much shorter. So my day shifts were just about 6 hours each. We had morning shift, afternoon shift, and night shift. The morning and afternoon shift were just 6 hours each. The night shift was a 12-hour shift. And what transitioning from a 6 hour shift to now a 10-hour shift was a very big struggle for me. I didn't know how to cope. It was a lot of time for me to be working at a stretch, and it made me very, very stressed. Secondly, in Nigeria, with the way the A&E works, because you pay out of pocket for things, there's a lot of time for you to rest. So, for example, if I see a patient and I tell you to go and pay for the x-ray, before you're done paying for the x-ray and before you come back, I can rest. Do you understand what I mean? But here, there's no time to rest because you're not paying for anything. If I'm requesting for the x-ray, you're simply going to the x-ray. And before you're back, the x-ray is already on my computer. So it meant that I was actively working for longer than I was in Nigeria. Even though my shift was 6 hours in Nigeria, I probably was only actively working for 3 hours out of those 6 hours, because the rest of the time was spent waiting for my patients to go and buy their medication, or waiting for my patients to go and pay for their drugs. I was just not actively working for the entire duration of my shift. But here, I was working for every single minute of those hours, and it just was very, very overwhelming for me. I'm not going to lie. Another thing that was overwhelming was the night shifts in Nigeria. When I was working, I mean, we had a call room. I'm sure if you guys have watched my day in the life of a doctor video, with you would have seen our call room. We had a bed to rest during the night shift. Here, there's no call room. There's no bed. And that is again because you're working every single hour of of the duration of your shift. There's no actual time for you to rest. You only get a 1 hour break, and that is the only time that is dedicated for your rest. Otherwise, you're supposed to be actively working. In Nigeria, the patients taper off at night, But here they don't. Do you understand what I mean? In Nigeria at night shift, I knew that I wasn't going to see any case except it was actually serious, except it was a life and death type of situation. Because again, in Nigeria, people are paying out of pocket. So people avoid going to the hospital except they really have to. And that just means that at night, naturally, you're going to see less patients. But here, people come to the A&E at night because they're not paying for it. So you see a lot of things that are not real A&E type cases in the A&E, and that just makes the shift so much more busier. So it wasn't easy for me to cope. Honestly, I'm going to say that it wasn't easy. I really, really struggled before I started getting into a rhythm. So it took me about 2 months before I honestly started getting into a rhythm. 2 months of actively working, and then I started getting into a rhythm. And then by the time I was 28 weeks, so by June, my line manager at the time told me to stop coming into work because, again, of the policy in my trust at that time, of which I think I even learned that the policy has been scrapped. So now, if I get pregnant again for whatever reason, I'll have to work all through. But then I didn't have to work all through. So that really did help. The fact that I wasn't going into work again from in my third trimester really did help me to try to adjust, really. So I mean, it wasn't easy, but God helped me and we made it work. And I'm just all I'm going to say is I'm glad that it's over. Honestly, that's just all I'm going to say. It was quite stressful being an IMG. IMG stands for International Medical Graduates, in case you guys don't know. Being an IMG, working in the A&E and being pregnant, it was a lot to handle. And I'm glad that it's over. So, yeah. Anyways, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it was entertaining enough for you. As per usual, give the video a massive thumbs up. You guys, please, it really does help the channel do better. So I would really be happy for it. Give the video a massive thumbs up and share the video to everyone who cares to watch it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and I will catch you in the next one. Bye guys.